Good. Okay, and welcome to Supreme Commander Forged Alliance. This is Millenwise's first game in a series of 3 to decide the fate of humanity. Does humanity survive COVID-19? Here, COVID-19 on the left is represented by the Cybran nation as the inventors of the quantum virus, and on the right here is the remainders of humanity, some of whom are also allowed to be Seraphim. But this is the first game of 3. This is a fun game tournament organised by Millenwise on Sunday, for Sunday 29th of March, and let's see who we have playing. For COVID-19 we have Angel of Death and ProjectZero, Millenwise in the middle there, and Everest, and then Fergus 1080 up the top. Opposite him is Antz in Aeon, Felad in UEF, Sir Thomas also in UEF, Judah in UEF, and finally Arran in Seraphim. They're going to start moving out. Let's see what happens here. Just go slightly faster at the beginning. Got some early raiding moving out here on the bottom. Judah is getting into position in the forward. We've got an early raid out here as well, heading over the top of the map to see what they can find, and looks like that raid is going to be picked up by the commander down here. No, it's just slightly too low. It'll get the get the mole, but not the mantis. So that's probably going to make its way back into the base. Looks like the commander's called off the attack there, and he's getting factories online instead to get the land spam going. So looks like that raid has been called off there. We've got a first mantis out by Millen to try and pick up these, take that central territory. That mantis there is doing damage, but it only managed to pick off one engineer, and it's going to do a little bit of damage to some other structures, but otherwise not much. So here we go, the first real engagement. We've got Angel Death versus Arran. Angel already getting some good troops in the mix to prevent reinforcements. Arran having to retreat here, and Angel looks like he's going to mostly pick up that space there. Millen starting an early move to T2 with a raid out here to see what they can pick off. They'll find a couple of mexes from Judah. Judah's commander still up here. Looks like he's getting PD in place, and that's been abandoned as he comes down to fight the threat down here. He's really only concentrated on teching up and getting his base. Meanwhile, we've got drops in from Sir Thomas and Everest up here to get these pans. If you haven't guessed, this map is called Peace because it's got pieces of pizza. I bet the the guys that thought that one up were rolling in the aisles that evening. Good bomber, picks off those mantis there, and is going to be sent in. Millenwise's interceptors are going to take the further bomber aggression out. Sent back to reinforce, and Millen also going for early stealth. So T2 plus stealth gets the power generator online, and looks like a bit of a stalemate here. Despite Antz having the better range and auroras that are able to outrange those, he's not really pushing forward there. We're getting upgrades on both, assisted by engineers there. So that's Angel with the sensor suite. Arran looks like he's cancelled that upgrade. That's going to cost him. And we're getting a gun upgrade on Felad, facing off here against Everest. Got a energy storage transferred over to Arran, and Sir Thomas comes in with some good Stinger support and interceptors to take out those interceptors from Angel. That's probably going to do a fair bit of damage. Is that Stinger going to survive? No, Millenwise's interceptors are brought in to take it out. Here we go with a big engagement. Unfortunately, sending Auroras into what looks like two PDs. That's going to be very painful, and force Antz to retreat there. And I suspect we're going to see a bit of PD creep across the top there. We've got ProjectZero's forces coming in to pressure Arran as well. He's getting the gun speed and range upgrade on the Seraphim commander there. I've got more Stingers coming in, this time to harass Angel. We've got a fleet of interceptors to guard against possible revenge attacks. Looks like that's looking good. Can they pick off Millenwise's interceptors as well? They've got him mostly forced. He's on half health. He's mostly forced back into the water there. And finally, those two Stingers go down with another set of interceptors in from Everest. Stingers brought in on the front line as well, and there the Arran's commander making good use of that speed and range gun to really hammer into those Cybran forces there. We've seen a bit of a stalemate here, and yep, there's the PD creep. It's moving forward. He's got sensible attack missile defense there. Best thing to prevent PD creep is building a good range of PD in your just beyond that range, so that the next one that creeps in is can't be built. So Arran making a move here. He's been forced to get some anti-air units online. Angel still in the water trying to recover health there, and this is giving Arran a good opportunity to get in and start hammering away at that Cybran force there. We're starting to see T2 from Angel there. Millenwise going up on a very forward base here. Looking like a pretty solid position, supported by ProjectZero's mantises there as well. We've got PD starting up here, trying to make a push. We've still got PD creep going on here, and those Oblivion turrets are just not going to make enough headway now. They're good for hitting heavy targets that don't move, but they just go. They don't have the rate of fire. So Antz has had to quit that sensor package, which again will really hurt him. Looks like Arran has moved into Angel's base, hoping for a comm push here. Angel does have the gun upgrade, so it's going to be 2 for 2 even, but ProjectZero's commander coming in as well. Can we get some... we've got some harassing bombers up for Angel as well. That's going to push Arran back. He's looking good. He's on 2 vets there. And he's got reinforcements coming in, but those bombers are going to force him back into the water there defensively. Looks like Fergus has pretty much taken over this entire base here. Antz is having to retreat. He's got lots and lots of artillery there. He's dodging and weaving. Now we see some hoplites and rhinos, so Tech 2 forces for Millen, and his PD creeping as well. That's forcing Judah back. Still seeing that main battle go on here. I'm just going to go back to real time to slow this down. So Millen has brought in some interceptors. We've got interceptors from Sir Thomas trying to pick off those bombers. They're making a bit of a number on Arran's forces here, and looks like the combination of forces here is going to be pretty devastating. Arran, having come out of the water over here, is now moving down to protect his own base. Millen setting up shop here with power generation and then shields queued up, and Fergus is just left to expand here. He's had what looks like a major incursion, which I've missed in his base there, probably coming from Felad, I wager, who's been up there with his commander. And looks like someone has a bunch of Everest has got a bunch of PDs going in to try and make things worse for those attacking him. Arran doing the main bit of defensive work here. He's got hoplites targeting him. He's got Mantis covering for the T1 units. Is he going to make it out? He's got 4 veterancies and he's recovering health. He's on about... He's got another veterancy level here, so that's looking good. Felad sending forces forward again to try and attack Fergus's base. Millen brings in the gunships to try and take out Felad from the air, but Felad's got a good base here to cover for him, and there Millenwise goes in for some PD creep. Now Arran, with that, he's recovering nearly, what's that? Something pretty impressive on the reclaim. I can't. Sorry, the regen. I can't remember exactly what it is. Facing against a huge horde of hoplites there, really needs those taken out, and ProjectZero is setting up more PD. Fergus making great use of the mass at his disposal there, and meanwhile Antz is trying to go for T2, and Felad setting up a forward base here with good PD coverage to take out those reclaiming engineers from Millenwise. We've got TAC missiles. No, that was yep, there's a Tech 2 arty installation. Bit of a stalemate here. They've clearly got the superior numbers, but they're not pushing back. There's a bit of a scout to see what they're up against, and Arran Where's his commander gone? There, right back there. So he's assisting Judah to get attack missile launcher online. Meanwhile, this artillery is going to start to be very annoying for Judah. What is he going to do against it? What plans do we have? We're already at T3 for Sir Thomas, and he is building strat bombers, which I think are going to be pretty useful in the future. Getting more hits on factories here for Millenwise, and looks like Judah is going to go in with his forces to see if he can push Millenwise back. He's got a good setup there, and the strat bomber brought in to see if he can make a dent in that. Looks like that shielding has been taken out. Millen has got more artillery online, but he might be forced back here. We shall see. So we've got the start of a push here. A forward PD isn't going to last long under hoplite assault. Meanwhile, the strategic bomber takes out an interceptor, and I think he's probably looking to see what he can take out. He's going to take out Tech 1 and some power. Nice work. But this line is going to look pretty difficult for Arran. Arran is doing a good job with Judah to try and fight off Millenwise's forces here. Millenwise retreating, seeing that he's under pressure from Felad here at the front. Felad unshielded, but with T2 and the Zephamp is not going to face up to those T2 PDs for long. We've got forces continuing to harass, but a couple of stingers get brought in to sweep up the remains. We've got Antz on very low health here. He's bringing up attack missile defense and trying to get power online against a very strong Fergus here, and looks like Arran is pretty much giving up on his base. There's very little to defend it. He's got a very powerful gun comm at full health, 20,000 health there, and the strat bomber is brought in to take out those hoplites. A brilliant maneuver there. Getting the shield online for Felad. He's got lots of engineers in to assist him, and Millenwise is upgrading to T3 on his commander. Stingers brought in to target. Are they going to go for Angel? Yes, they are, with a good fleet of T1 and T3 interceptors, making life very difficult. Is Angel of Death going to make it out of there alive? He's also got Arran's commander hunting him down, getting detected by other forces, but Angel and ProjectZero here trying to get some defenses online. Angel already looking a bit weak there. We've got another strat bomber coming out. Where is it going? What is it going to hit? It's going to hit these forces here and not do much damage, unfortunately. It's got interceptors on its tail, and it will survive. We've got Antz desperately trying to get some reclaim here, and finally a push from Felad on Millenwise's centre base here. He's got plenty of pillars in the line, and they are just going to be able to chew through Millenwise's amusingly named point defences, and looks like Millen has finally got T3 there. He is looking a bit exposed, but probably okay at this point. What can he get? He can get those Cerberus point defense very online very quickly, as long as he's got build power. And if he doesn't get mass from Fergus there, then that will be a pity. Okay, Felad pressuring Millenwise here. He's got, and here comes a strat bomber, going to hit Millenwise, but not enough. There's another, takes Millen down to 3,000, and he's got gun commander on his tail. He's going down rapidly, and is Millenwise the first to be ejected? And it looks like he hasn't thought about that third strategic bomber. So Millenwise is the first to be taken out of the game. Meanwhile, we have a very good force here attacking and making life very difficult for Arran, who has basically had to pause everything and going for the splash gun, which is a bold move. Antz here going for Raz. That will take another hour or so, depending on his economy. We've got more forces coming in. Felad here in a very good position is being brought in. Looks like he is just going to be able to walk through ProjectZero's base, doing terrible, terrible things to it. And there's not a lot that ProjectZero can do to stop him. We've got broadsword heavy gunship being brought in. That's going to not last a long time in the face of flak. That's going to be difficult for it, but it might give them enough time. They've now got triads in the back there, able to take out that marauding force, and that might push them back. Felad moving forward there. Fergus more or less poised here. What's he working on? He seems to be almost static at the moment. Not seeing a lot of orders queued up. We've got a set of point defense here, which is going to gradually whittle away at that shield. Broadswords being brought in again by Sir Thomas to take out that flak, and then the other units. The broadsword should outlast that flak. And now we've got ProjectZero having just got stealth. Angel is getting an upgrade to T2. But Felad moving into ProjectZero's base like he owns it, and he will most likely, and that will be a lot of reclaim left behind there. There's reclaim all over the map here, and you can see that Antz's engineers are out collecting their fair share. So we've got ProjectZero going for T3. So Angel going for T3, assisted by the look of it by ProjectZero. That gives them the possibility of bringing Monkey Lords into the fray, and that might be a problem. We've got the splash gun going for Arran. He's getting that up what is his economy. It is almost nothing. He is doing a bit of reclaiming there, which is probably the only thing that's keeping him alive. Antz has been forced back. Does he have... No, he did not get T3. That artillery was just too much. Felad's base is now in the line of Fergus, and that is going to be very difficult. We might hope for a few Janus, but that's going to look very difficult for them. So Sir Thomas brings in the Air Force and the broadswords to start protecting that side. And here we go, Arran moving in. He's got the splash gun and the speed and range gun, so as long as he can see things, he can do a lot of damage. Look at that splash gun go. It's that's going to be very difficult to resist. Is Angel of Death going to be pushed back? Maybe. Arran moving forward. We've got Sir Thomas going for T3. We've got Antz going for T3 somehow. Looks like that raid at the top has been pushed back by the broadswords, buying Felad a bit of time. Felad rearranging himself here and taking out a bunch of scouts. What's his plan? I would have started by building a few factories in the base there and hoovering up some mass. Maybe there's enough to go around. We've got... finally, we've got... Who is this? Everest taking over Millen's old base and enjoying the mass there. We've got a line of Cerberus turrets forcing Felad back. I don't think he really scouted that one. Felad is going to move back and probably set up base there then. That makes sense. That T2 RT is now going to move in, and if these units don't remain under shield, then that will cause them a lot of problem. That artillery, let's just have a look at that from Fergus's perspective. Pick one of those artilleries up and it can reach all the way into the middle of Felad's base, and that will make life a bit difficult for him. So we have Felad bringing in some stingers and a T2 force coming in to try and take that out. Unfortunately, he's run pretty much straight into the front of the fire base. I thought he'd prioritised getting those Gonthers out, but no. Felad is recycling everything he can get his hands on there, and there is a lot to get your hands on. Meanwhile, looks like Arran has been pushed back here. We've got T3 artillery, and when you see those scorched wasteland decals go down on you, that is not a good sign. So, what's our plan here? Arran pretty much not doing anything. He seems to have an assist order on him somewhere, but from where, I have no idea. Judah has the TAC missile and seems to be getting an upgrade. Not sure what for though. We're getting Raz for Sir Thomas. He's got a quantum gateway online. That should mean put him in a very commanding position of air. Sir Thomas has definitely gone for full air and defense there, where Millenwise, as the rear air player, was more aggressive, which is out of his usual style. We see a bit of Tech 2 artillery trying to do some damage to Felad's base there. Felad has done a little bit of work hoovering up that mass, but has decided to move home. what is going on here. So we've got Angel now is putting down strategic missile defense. None of these people are building T3 strategic missile launchers. No. There's one. The question is, has Angel scouted it? And Everest taken out by bombers there. And the curse of the commentator. I just didn't notice he'd been lined up perfectly there, and that takes another Cybran out. Felad is going to rejoice there. There's a lot of lovely mass for him. Can he get his stuff online? He's now being pressured very heavily at that front, with a large set of bricks and T2 and T1 units moving in as well. That does not look like enough defences there. Trying to get a fusion reactor online, but that might be a little risky. The bricks being pushed back, interestingly, which I wouldn't have expected. They're able to get missile defense. They're trying to get missile defense online, but they're just having troubles with all of the other things going on there. And now missiles, shells raining down on Arran. What has happened to him? He seems away from keyboard at this stage. He's probably going to be able to survive a lot of that. He is upgrading. He's about halfway through, but with most of his economy being decimated, he's got a bunch of things online there, but he's still going to struggle with that. And those trebuchets are going to start making mincemeat of Judah's base as well. The bricks have been recalled and they are moving south. Felad has sent units in to do some damage to the back of Fergus's base. Felad returning home, and looks like he's going to get a few easy kills on things that aren't moving. Finally, Arran's commander has given up on that upgrade and moves in. He is going to need to keep moving, otherwise he will be the focus of some punishing missile and artillery fire there. Can he get enough damage done on those bricks? If you're going to suicide, then you might as well at least go in and do some damage while you're in it. He's down to 1500. We've got, and there we go. Yep, unfortunately, a move back to shielding was not the advised maneuver there. And now we see Judah's base being punished by trebuchet fire there. We've got a few Percivals and shielding moving up to take out this fire base up the top. Felad looking in an increasingly commanding position. Are the broadswords being brought in? Where are they off to? They're up to the front line here. What do we have? And we have a Monkey Lord. That's going to be difficult to shake off. We have fighters coming in. We've got the Percivals doing damage to that force here. They've basically taken out that fire base, and looks like a brick is going to make some easy work of some interceptors. Looks like most of Angel's base is busy trying to build SAMs. and most of his engineers are idle, while he builds up some defense for himself. And here come the ambassadors. And when you hear that in Supreme Commander, it's not a good sign. The Monkey Lord pretty much taken down to a quarter of its health, targeting very bad choices of target there, and looks like the second run, which has a lot more strategic bombers doing good work. Bouncers being brought in behind, so Thomas's base is going to need a lot of support. And there's Judah back in the shielding, hoping that the bits of his base are going to be kept alive. Unfortunately, not a good hope. Here we go with some strategic bombs taking out a lot of those trebuchets. That's a pretty devastating hit. And away before the bouncers can do too much damage to them. So Thomas now feeling the pressure, and we have artillery here that's going to make life difficult for things approaching Felad's forward base. No one is doing much about this reclaim. Even the people who most desperately need the resources are just not using them. We're going for more power generation away off the far corners of the map, building up some mexes, and a nice little raid with 2 bricks who are really going to have no problem taking out these resources here. But what was looking like a very commanding position from Angel of Death before is suddenly looking a lot more difficult. Felad has come up here to try and deal with some of this force. Is getting targeted heavily by the T2, but seems to be mostly trying to target the bricks. He gets what looks like an overcharge in there. Those Percys, and a second overcharge takes out those 2 bricks. Lovely bit of work there, and that gives the Percys a lot more free rein to get in and start doing some damage to Fergus. So more strategic bombers brought in to punish those things in the front of Angel's base. Felad making a good push here. Those Percivals aren't going to stand up forever, but they are a very tough unit and they'll do a lot of damage. The question is, can Felad get himself in range of these other things to do some good damage here to take out this forward fire base, and then give some relieve the pressure on his base and Sir Thomas. Antz is finally getting a bit of work there, and a lone brick finally goes down to that just as the artillery shell comes in. The ambassador hoping that it's in the clear. So we now Fergus is sending his Monkey Lord through the water, where it will have a lot less chance of being hit successfully, and his probable target, do we get? No, Fergus has left himself out in the open. We've got a shield taking out some of those bombs, but down he goes, and that's a terrible end to what was looking like a very, very good large base there. That's really weakened the forces of the virus. Then their hope now is down here, and what looks like a Billy nuke from Judah takes down a large collection of units. That was unexpected, and I think Millenwise is kind of surprised in there in the commentary. We've got meanwhile the strat bombers are going to take out the resources. Bouncers being brought back to try and fend them off. And I would suspect that we're seeing SAM launchers being hurriedly assembled just in time for the bombers to apparently hover in midair. Before being shot down. So, some Percivals not having a good time against the bricks. Where is that missile going? It's going to take out the forward part of Angel's base. That is going to do a bit of damage. It did get partly hit by the TAC missile defense, and remember, Billies are counted as TAC missiles, so you can't expect those to get through, and they're not taken out by strategic defense, but they are taken out by tactical. So Sir Thomas trying to set up, Antz trying to get any resources he can. He's got one engineer sitting there doing basically nothing. Felad has an experimental online. Where is it? There it is. A fat boy. What are we going to see? You can see the huge cluster of engineers, and including some from Antz, so good on him. The Monkey Lord still on full health. Those ambassadors being brought off for a final run where the bouncers can do less damage to them. Do we get a missile away? We get one, but that's going to be a convincing number of missiles that hit, and there the second Monkey Lord is taken down. We've got support ACUs coming in. Felad, the hero commander, and it looks like finally the Stonager is ready. Angel decides to kill himself, and it looks like the remaining forces of ProjectZero, thank you brain, are going to be in the center of that nuke. So we have one game to humanity. Let's hope there's another one coming up soon. Thank you very much for watching, and see you next time.